So the S word came up in conversation more than once yesterday. Not split squats. We're talking about sugar. Now, sugar gets a really bad rep, and in some ways, maybe it should have a little bit of a bad rep. Too much sugar isn't good for your teeth. Too much sugar, in terms of total calories, isn't good for increasing body fat. But sugar in itself isn't inherently bad. It is actually what fuels our bodies. When we take carbohydrates in, or sugar itself, the body processes it to use for energy, to do all the things we've got to do. The main thing being keeping our brain going. Now, there is the keto diet and ketones and that keeping you going like that, but for most people it's not a very realistic lifestyle. So why does sugar get a bad rep? Why do the other S word comes up? Oh, snacks. I'm always reaching for something maybe I shouldn't be. Well, it's possibly that because of the kind of misinformation, diet culture, maybe eating a little bit too less of the right things, or it's become habitual. The brain, realizing it's running low, will create a signal to say, give me something to eat. The easiest thing to reach for is probably something sugary, and actually because the brain's telling us to do it, because it needs fuel, it's going to steer us towards what we know as something that's sugary. So partly, if we want to eat a little bit less sugar, we need to look at changing habits, changing what we've got available to have those snacks. Maybe we need to not have the penguin biscuits in the cupboard and have bananas, grapes, things like that more readily available. And that's not saying a penguin biscuit in the context of your overall diet is a bad thing at all. We still need to enjoy what we're eating, else it becomes a bit of a minefield, a bit of a chore, and starts to actually mess with your head with your choices. So sugar itself isn't bad, and you can relate it really to fuel that goes in your car. It's very similar structure. It's a long train of carbon atoms with other molecules associated with it, and it gets broken down, and ultimately the body releases fuel. It's not literally burning in the same sense as how the fuel gets burnt in a car, but it is quite similar in that as the bonds break, bit of chemistry teacher coming out of me, as the bonds break of the chain, then energy is released and that fires the processes in the body. So sugar addiction, often talked about as well. I used to work in the motorway services. It was my kind of Saturday evening job when I was in sixth form and at university, and people used to take excessive amounts of packets of sugar to put in their tea or coffee, probably because they just paid a premium price for something that they probably felt should be really realistically half the price. Motorway service has always been expensive, and they take loads of sugar, but then they'd also leave loads of sugar. So although habits and lifestyle and our brains telling us we need sugar, sugar addiction is a little bit overstated. That's not to say there are people that really struggle with their intake. That's not discrediting that. It's just looking at actually why is that? Is it due to food availability, what they keep around? Is it habit, and that's just become habitual and need to start doing some small replacements to kind of stop that grabbing the easiest thing mentality. So sugar, not terrible in your overall context of your nutrition. Same as most things, if it fits into your calorie target for what you're trying to achieve, you're probably going to be okay.